All right, today, we're going to tackle a concept that's way more than just another rule to memorize. Think of it as a strategic skill, a secret weapon that'll completely change how you approach problems. We're talking about rational exponents. And trust me, getting a handle on these is how you become a much more fluent and, frankly, powerful math student. So let's just dive right in. Okay, just take a look at this. On the left, you've got radicals. On the right, you've got fractional exponents. It's the exact same problem, but which one looks easier to deal with? Come on, be honest. For pretty much everyone, it's the one on the right. And that's the whole point we're making today. Sometimes, just how a problem is written makes all the difference in the world. I want you to think about this like you're learning a new language. You've got radical speak and you've got exponent speak. They're just two different ways of saying the exact same thing, and our goal today is to make you bilingual. Because once you're fluent, you can switch back and forth and choose the language that makes your life a whole lot easier. And this right here, this is really the secret. The best math students don't just know how to convert between these two forms, they know why, and more importantly, when. It's a strategic move. It's the difference between just memorizing rules and actually truly understanding the math. So how do we get fluent? Well, you need a translation guide, right? A kind of mathematical Rosetta Stone. And the best part is, the rule is incredibly simple, and it works every single time. So first, let's look at radical speak. There are only two parts you need to worry about here. The little number tucked into the symbol, that's called the root. And the exponent that's on the member inside, that's the power. That's it, root and power. Easy enough, right? Now, for the other language, exponent speak. We've got a fraction as an exponent, and this is where it all clicks. Remember the power from before? Well, that becomes the numerator, the top of the fraction. And the root? That becomes the denominator, the bottom of the fraction. And here it is, the big reveal, the entire translation guide you'll ever need. The power from inside the radical goes on top as the numerator, the root of the radical goes on the bottom as the denominator. Just remember, power over root. That's it. That's the whole key. All right, we've got our rule. Let's put it to work. It's time to put your new language skills to the test. We're going to circle all the way back to that first problem we looked at and see just how ridiculously easy it becomes when we pick the right language for the job. You know, trying to multiply a square root and a cube root is just awkward. But watch this. Step 1, we translate them into exponential form. Boom! X to the 1/2 times x to the 1/3. Step 2. Now it's just a basic exponent rule. We add the fractions, find a common denominator, which is 6, and you get x to the 5/6. I mean, how clean is that? And if your teacher wants it back in radical form, switching back is a piece of cake. Now look, with any new skill, there are always a few little traps people fall into. It's totally normal. But let's just call them out right now, so you can see them coming and just step right over them. No problem. Okay, this one is huge. If you only remember one trap, make it this one. If you see a number out in front of the radical, that number is just a multiplier. It is not part of the base. It does not get the fractional exponent. Let's make this crystal clear. On the left, you've got 5 times the cube root of x. The 5 is a coefficient, so it just stays out front when you translate it. But look at the right. That's a totally different problem where the 5 is inside the radical. Those two are not the same, so don't treat them like they are. The second trap is, well, it's just basic fraction math, but you'd be surprised how many people get caught. When you're adding those fractional exponents, you have to find a common denominator. It sounds simple, but in the heat of a test, it's so easy to just add across the top and bottom. Remember, 1/2 plus 1/3 is 5/6, not 2/5. Don't let a simple mistake like that cost you. So you might be wondering, okay, this is a neat trick, but why does it matter so much? Well, let me tell you, this isn't just about your algebra class. Mastering this skill is completely non-negotiable for what comes next in your math career. This skill, it goes way, way beyond this class. And here it is, the big payoff. For anyone out there who's planning on taking calculus, listen up. There is a fundamental rule called the power rule. You're going to use it all the time. But guess what? It only works with exponential form. It does not work with radicals, period. You will have to translate radicals into exponents to do some of the most basic things in calculus. This skill isn't optional. It's your entry ticket. So we've come full circle. You're not just solving an equation anymore. You're a translator. You're officially bilingual in the language of math. You can now look at a problem and strategically choose the best tool for the job. And that is what thinking like a mathematician is all about. So now that you have this power, the only question is, what are you going to solve next?